take, and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, and every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you. Every smile you fake, every claim you stick, I'll be watching you. Every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, and every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
Find it. I would go anywhere, anywhere.
all night just to find it. Tell me what you want, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want, tell me what you want. Anywhere to find you. Just to find it.
All the night is my world. City lights, painted girl. In a day, nothing matters. It's the night, time that flatters. In the night, no control. Through the wall, something's breaking. Wearing white. As you're walking down the street of my soul, you take my self-control. You got me living only for the night. Before the morning comes, the story's told. You take my self-control. I live among the creatures of the night. I haven't got the will to try and fight. I can't say no tomorrow, so I guess I just believe it that tomorrow never comes. I know the night is not as it would seem. You take myself, you take myself. I must believe in something, so I make myself believe it. That this night will never go.
The Omicron variant of coronavirus is raging around the world. That the warning from the US's top pandemic advisor, Anthony Fauci, as the World Health Organization warns the worldwide holiday season will lead to increased cases and overwhelm health systems. Tigrayan forces fighting the Ethiopian government have withdrawn from regions in the country's north, a step towards a possible ceasefire. And today marking 30 years since the fall of the Soviet Union. And this news we report from Georgia, where an uneasy peace has held since the war there in 2008. Glad to be with us. I'm Stuart Norval here on France 24. So an event cancelled is better than a life cancelled. Those are the words of the head of the World Health Organization as he warned that the Omicron variant of coronavirus is spreading far faster than the Delta variant and is causing infections in people already vaccinated or who have already recovered from COVID-19. The WHO also warning that holiday festivities will lead to increased cases and overwhelmed health systems. For now, protection, the buzzword.
In some cases, that will mean cancelling or delaying events, just as we have had to cancel the reception we plan to have with you today. But an event cancelled is better than a life cancelled. It's better to cancel now and celebrate later than to celebrate now and grieve later.
Well, the WHO's comments backed up by the US's top pandemic advisor, Anthony Fauci. He warned that Omicron is raging around the world with tough times ahead. Lauren Bain reports.
When the new Omicron variant was first detected in the US at the beginning of December, it was present in less than 1% of infections. Now that rate jumped to nearly 75% in just 2 weeks. With COVID cases now doubling in 1.5 to 3 days in some areas, testing lines are filling up.
The line definitely hasn't been this long in a while. I haven't been tested in a couple months. I was asked to do it now for work because of the spikes that are happening in the city.
I'm glad to see that people are getting tested if they're going to travel. I assume that's part of the reason why they're doing it with the upcoming holidays, but it's also probably because a lot of people are starting to not feel very well with the new Omicron variant.
The variant is present in roughly 90% of new infections in the New York, Southeast, Midwest, and Pacific Northwest regions. First detected in southern African countries, their findings suggest that Omicron could be less harmful compared to previous strains.
It is unlikely it's going to be more lethal. There's some suggestive evidence from the southern African nations, particularly South Africa, that if anything, it might be a little less severe, but we don't want to hang our hat on that.
President Joe Biden will be addressing the public this Tuesday. The White House said the address will not announce any new lockdowns. Instead, it will offer a strict warning to the unvaccinated.
Tigrayan forces fighting the Ethiopian government have withdrawn from regions in the country's north. It's a step towards a possible ceasefire. Major gains of late by the Ethiopian military after 13 months of war in Africa's second most populous nation. Yinka Oyatade reports.
It was a race against the clock to save the injured at this market in southern Tigray after it was hit by a military airstrike last Thursday. For many, it was too late. Dozens were killed here. It's another attack to add to a string of atrocities that has marked the brutal war in Ethiopia. But Monday signaled a new turning point in the conflict when rebel Tigrayan forces who have been fighting central government troops announced they were withdrawing from the regions of Amhara and Afar, both located in northern Ethiopia. The TPLF spokesman tweeted that the pullout would take away whatever excuse the international community has to explain dragging its feet when it comes to putting pressure on Abiy Ahmed and his regional partners. The rebels claimed the withdrawal should push the international community to ensure that food aid can enter Tigray. The UN has accused the Ethiopian government of placing a blockade on the region, allegations that it denies. 400,000 people are on the brink of famine there.
Our concerns continue to deepen, particularly in regard to the ongoing conflict, its increasingly severe impact on humanitarian needs, and the state of emergency that was adopted last month. The conflict in the Tigray region has, in recent months, extended to other areas of the country. It now involves an even wider range of actors with serious impact on civilians.
For Abiy Ahmed, the announcement of the pullout is a cover-up for military setbacks. Since the Ethiopian Prime Minister went to the front lines to lead the fight against the TPLF, state media says the government has retaken a string of key towns. But with independent journalists unable to access conflict zones, it's hard to verify the government's claims.
Let's bring you some other world news now on the programme. And a New York jury has begun considering the fate of the British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, accused of recruiting and grooming young girls to be abused by the late financier Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell, the 59-year-old daughter of the former newspaper baron Robert Maxwell, faces an effective life sentence if convicted on all 6 counts following a high-profile 3-week trial in Manhattan. The 12 jurors need to reach a unanimous decision on each count. Tens of thousands of protesters have filled the centre of Buenos Aires on Monday to mark the 20th anniversary of Argentina's Great Crisis, when a social outbreak over an economic meltdown saw 39 people killed in a government crackdown. Dozens of trade unions, social movements and left-wing parties descending on the Plaza de Mayo square in front of the presidential palace. Demonstrators saying the protests are taking place in a similar economic context of large-scale debt and austerity. And Russia has expelled 2 German diplomats in response to a spat with Berlin over a German court's ruling that Moscow ordered the 2019 assassination of an ex-Chechen commander in a Berlin park. Russia saying the diplomats declared persona non grata as a symmetrical response. It came after judges in Berlin sentenced the Russian national Vadim Krasikov to life in prison last week. Now, Vladimir Putin has described it as the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century, a real setback for Russian power. Well, today marks 30 years, in fact, since 11 out of 12 Soviet republics signed the Almaty Protocol. The USSR collapsed, leaving one giant country, Russia, and 14 other smaller independent states. Well, one of them is Georgia. In 2008, the country tried to increase links with Europe, leading to clashes between the army and pro-Russian rebels backed by Russian troops. Well, as the international community stepped in to stop the fighting there, the Russians retreated, but they kept control over the South Ossetia region, creating what is more and more like a hard border. Well, James Andre has been back 13 years after the war.
This road leads into disputed territory. To the Russians, it is the Autonomous Republic of South Ossetia. To the Georgians, it is the occupied region of Trin Valley. This building behind me is one of the 20 Russian military bases that monitors the demarcation lines that's 350 kilometers long and dates back to the 2008 war.
On a daily basis, we face a so-called borderization process. We face illegal detention of the people. Also, we face the military drills on the ground. Russia is deployed on our land illegally, and they are occupying our region. They are trying to have annexation policy on the ground. It is a threat for European security overall.
Since the war, pro-Russian Ossetian separatists have laid kilometers of barbed wire and fence to turn what was an administrative line into a de facto hard border. Sometimes they've cut properties or families in two.
I had a plot of land over there, but they locked me in with this fence and I lost it. My relatives don't come here because if they cross the line, they'll be arrested. I have no one here. This fence has ruined my life.
According to the Georgian government, nearly 26,000 refugees still live in camps like this one. Camps that have become villages over time.
I really want to see my village again. I need it, like a thirsty person needs water. I still have hope, but it's been 14 years, and they keep promising, but nothing happens.
If our generation doesn't return, I don't think my grandchildren will be interested at all.
With the 2008 war, Russia has cemented its influence here in Georgia. It has also sent a powerful message to all former Soviet satellite states.
James Andre there reporting for France 24. Now then, we're going to take you to the Ivory Coast, where one up-and-coming stand-up comedian is putting the spotlight on the place that birthed and raised him. A Bobo, through humour, Klantelex is hoping to deconstruct some of the clichés that surround the infamous Ivorian borough. Well, for France 24, Samuel Bernard and Hanan Fajani report.
Tonight at Klantelex's stand-up comedy show, it's all about his native Abobo, the most populous borough in the Abidjan district, otherwise known for its criminality track record. Stereotypes that this young Abobo native has made it his mission to deconstruct. On stage, Klantelex is merely a supporting character in each of his carefully crafted skits.
Verser poudre, c'est pour Abobo. Courir, c'est pour Abobo. Va chez nous les jeudis ou les dimanches à Abobo, on verse poudre sur toi. Toi, mais tu demandes pas, on verse poudre sur toi. Parce qu'il y a mariage.
The comedian utters the name Abobo repeatedly, like he would a chorus. But he doesn't shy away from being raw when telling his neighborhood stories.
Moi, je suis très connu à Abobo. Il a déposé mon vélo ici. Ils sont venus prendre mes chaussures là. À mon retour, ils ont pris les 2 pneus.
Addressing the clichés attached to his neighborhood with humor and derision, an approach that appears to be working with tonight's audience.
It's important to talk about it because Abobo has such a bad reputation. I think that joking about it all is a good idea.
He came to show something different, with references that come not only from Abobo, but also from elsewhere, like in France with Macron and other things. It gives a different image of Abobo people.
In Abobo, Klantelex is a true celebrity, especially among the children. But according to his aunt, his decision to pursue a career in the arts came as a surprise for everyone in the family.
We really didn't expect him to start a career in comedy. We had never really considered it.
For Klantelex, comedy should always strive to strike a chord. The young performer hopes that his success will set an example for the young people in his neighborhood, many of whom are tempted to leave the country by any means necessary.
I didn't have to go somewhere else to make it. It's my own humor, my own dream. I went to school and worked hard to get here. I hope this will force young people to think before leaving for Europe and risking their lives for nothing. I want them to see that there are opportunities right here, that you can make it if you believe in your talent.
The next time Klantelex steps on the stage will be here in Abidjan on the 19th and 25th of December. His French enthusiasts will have to wait until February 2022 to watch him perform in Lille.
Yeah, so get your tickets now. Now then, it looks like most other hotels around the world, but this one is rather special. Why? Let's find out. Here it is, first of all. Stylish furnishings, abstract art on the walls, and a comfy bed as well for a good night's sleep. But this place in London has some serious eco-friendly credentials. For example, the bathroom taps limit the release of water. Lampshades, they're made of recycled glass, and the mirrors use locally sourced wood. Power comes from solar on the roof and as well 17,000-metre boreholes into the ground that provide the hot water needs. It's been built in response to growing concerns about the hospitality sector's impact on the climate. It is the world's first net zero carbon hotel. Looks pretty swish as well, doesn't it? It's in London, if you fancy booking yourself a ticket. Very smart. That's the latest news from us here on France 24. More news coming up for you, of course, in 15 minutes' time, so stay with us.
Because it was like something that was everything that I had actually left behind, all rolled into one. You know what I mean? Comprende? A collective unit that took me off, made my sensitive, you know?
It's in your blood.
Keep it in mind.
I see you sometimes, wish we could wait. And I don't know where I'm going to. I wouldn't have it any other way. I see you sometimes, wish we could wait. And I don't know where I'm going to. I wouldn't have it any other way. Even just for the fun, I had on the blue tones. On the sofa, my shirt and my shoes on. Now I find something I can prove wrong. American spirit and moon rocks. Naked bodies on futons. Send a fire in the air, I stroll through bliss, feel so unaware. Fireworks paint in the air, so crazy, just blew through another year. Same hoodie hiding my face, bench, same old bit of taste. The same bit of look on your face, it don't change. I see you sometimes, wish we could wait.
Right.
Hello, I'm Karime Lopez, chef of the Je Vista, and today we're going to show you what we cook for us. Welcome. Hello everyone, so today I'm going to present you one of the members of our family in the kitchen. As we all know, I think the kitchen is a very inclusive place and it's a melting pot of ideas. In each house we eat different, and also we have different influences because of our mother, our father, our grandmother, our grandfather. So in this house that is called Je Vista, we also have different influences because we are from all over the world. So today we're going to present you Bruno, that he's half Italian and half Bolivian, and he's going to do for us the beloved empanadas that we used to eat every Saturday. Bruno.
Hi, hola, come stan? Tutto bien? Bene, sono qua con te, Cari. Facciamo questa empanada.
Facciamo empanadas.
Facciamola allora. Facciamo l'impasto.
Quanta farina hai qua?
500 grammi di farina.
Sì.
La mettiamo a fontana. E mettiamo in mezzo lo strutto. E piano piano, cortesemente, carici minuti, mettiamo l'acqua calda in salamoia, 250 cl di acqua e 26 grammi di sale grosso.
Poco a poco.
Poco a poco, sì. E questo qua è un piatto tipico nostro sudamericano.
Sì.
Sempre nelle feste, sempre una ricorrenza, ma in verità, come sai bene, lo mangiamo ogni minuto. Può essere alla fermata del pullman, può essere in giro, è sempre un buon momento per mangiare le empanadas in Sud America. E il bello delle empanadas è che cambiano di 100 metri di casa in casa, è il famoso toquecito.
Toquecito.
Che a differenza ogni empanada da ognuna. Quindi l'empanada del ricordo di ognuno è quello della mamma. sempre in Sud America. Oggi abbiamo pensato di fare un'unione. Praticamente ho pensato di unire le mie due culture. Praticamente ho pensato in una genovese con cui farò il ripieno di questa impanata.
Spiegaci come la genovese, perché
La
non
genovese,
tutta la gente sa
sì,
che...
la genovese praticamente è tanto stufato di cipolla, praticamente quasi più 2/4 della carne, perché comunque perderà consistenza, perderà un sacco di acqua, quindi parti sempre con 2/4 di cipolla sul peso della carne.
Quindi questo sarà un mix di due culture?
Sì, perché alla fine sembra un po' anche la ciorreiana, no? Quella che abbiamo noi in Sud America, che sempre parti con la cipolla brasata e poi ci metti la carne. Si assomigliano molto.
Ok.
Quindi è sempre un connubio tra le culture che sono sempre più vicine alla fine. Bene, ci siamo quasi con l'impasto. E lo andiamo ancora per 2-3 minuti fino a trovare una consistenza liscia e poi andrà a riposare minimo mezz'ora. Temperatura ambiente, coperta da un panno.
Brunch. Quindi questo impasto ha riposato mezz'ora, no?
Sì, mezz'ora.
Ok, e adesso cosa facciamo?
Siamo pronti per stendere. Se avete a casa un mattarello, siete comunque, se siete agevolati, con una macchina, con un mattarello.
Più veloce.
Esatto. Però il risultato è sempre meglio, perché noi, le nonne, lo facevano col mattarello. La macchina ancora non esisteva.
Sì.
Quindi meglio ancora. Ok,
bene.
Allora iniziamo una piccola spolverata di amido di mais da tutti e due i lati per non farla incastrare nella macchina. Quindi adesso parto e poi piano piano vado sempre diminuendo l'altezza dell'impasto.
Ok, bene, bene, bene. Bene, quindi vamos, Brunch.
Vamos. Ok, già così andrà bene. Spennelliamo lo strutto, siamo generosi, non è un problema, tanto non siamo a dieta quando mangiamo le empanadas.
Io no, nessuna dieta qua.
Nessuna
bene,
dieta.
Ok.
Andiamo. Poi ancora una piccola spolverata di maizena.
Quindi questo strutto fa che si sfoglia meglio?
Sì,
okay.
sì, si sfoglia, lo ingolosisce,
gourmet.
È gourmet.
Gourmet.
Grasso, è magico. Quindi abbiamo piegato così, questa azione la ripetiamo per 3 volte.
Ok. Bene, Brunch, quindi adesso cosa facciamo?
Adesso praticamente prendiamo un ring e copiamo l'impasto che abbiamo steso fino a raggiungere un impasto sottile, e adesso copo, dove in mezzo introdurrò l'impasto, il ripieno, che è praticamente una genovese, un po' richiamando comunque sempre le mie origini, un po' di Sud America, perché ho messo un po' di coriandolo e si assomiglia molto alla ciorreiana che facciamo dalle mie parti, penso anche dalle tue parti, praticamente lo stufato di cipolla, che si può mettere tutti i vari pezzi di carne o i ritagli, gli scarti, che si possono riutilizzare. Quindi metto in mezzo il ripieno, che è appunto cipolla stufata, gli scarti di carne che abbiamo in cucina, e quindi
per non buttare il cibo noi prendiamo
esatto.
tutti questi scarti, lo mischiamo con la cipolla,
sì,
e fai un
po' di parmigiano, e niente, siamo alla chiusura. Adesso ci immaginiamo una caramella, prendiamo tutte le estremità, le facciamo combaciare bene, facciamo un po' di pressione, mettiamo l'impasto bene all'interno.
Bene, provo una.
Poi, una volta che abbiamo la caramella, bisogna immaginarci di fare un cavatappi, una chiusura a cavatappi, la forma del cavatappi. Bene. Così. E andiamo a piegare.
Brunch, come sto facendo bene?
Sì, molto bella. È la suerte del principiante.
Bene,
Molto
grazie.
bene. Sì. Mi sa che hai finito prima tu o ho finito prima io?
Aspetta. Bene, credo.
Ah sì.
È bella, no?
Sì, è molto bella.
Ok.
Per voi, la nostra...
Empanada. Brunch, adesso friggiamo, no?
Adesso friggiamo in un olio di semi, 180 gradi circa, e più che un tempo andiamo sulla colorazione.
Ok.
Ma pressappoco 3 minuti siamo pronti. Eccoci, è arrivato il momento che aspettavamo.
Yay! Bene. Sei contento con il risultato?
Me lo dirai tu adesso?
Che odore, che buoni. Belli. Quindi Brunch, mangiamo?
Mangiamo, è arrivato.
Mangiamo. Buona.
Buonasso.
Buonaso.
Hi, Mom. I'm on top of the world. person on the planet right now. It's incredible.
What I tend to look for when I go to places are things that are visually appealing. When you walk down the sand dunes here in St. Lucia, just thinking of the old shipwrecks or the explorers, the first thing they saw was these long beaches and impenetrable forest. They still look exactly the same. I can't imagine there are many places in the world where you can see tons of things in one day. I want to pinch my arm and say, this can't be true. I'm in the middle of this. I think the uniqueness is that it's diverse. You could peel off layer after layer and you'll find more and more things. It's all here for you to just be part of.
Koji Radical.
Emerald, I love you, but you're interrupting my game right now.
Well, I'll let you get back to your game, but only if you can answer some questions correctly.
What kind of questions?
I'm going to put your knowledge to the test. How well do you think you know Xbox?
Pretty well, I think anyway.
Let's start easy. What year was the first Xbox released?
2001, and I've actually got the OG Xbox sitting in that corner right now.
Correct. Okay, Koji, how many Xbox consoles have there been?
4. Xbox, the 360, Xbox One, and we had the Xbox Series S and X come out at the same time, so that's like one generation.
And it looks like the Series X has had a little bit of a makeover.
Yes, it's actually got the OG Gucci print all over it. Gucci and Xbox have done a collaboration. Do you know how mad that is? Anniversary settings, we love it.
And can you tell me which anniversary it is?
100 years of Gucci.
100 years? That's crazy. Let's take it back to the beginning. Which game was the first to be released on the OG Xbox console?
Easy, Halo.
And what's your favourite game?
It's a bit personal, I thought this was a quiz.
Well, there's no wrong answer.
There's something very therapeutic about Gears of War.
I'm trying to work out how Gears of War can be therapeutic.
You gotta be there to understand. It's one of those things.
Fair enough. And I've noticed you've got some bits with you there. Is that the Master Chief helmet?
Oh, what? This old thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to wear this on weekends.
Very nice. If you could soundtrack an Xbox game, what song would you use?
I'd put one of mine in there. I'd put Utopia in Red Dead Redemption.
Solid choice. Koji, are you ready for a quick fire round?
Alright, come.
In one of your songs, you say, I cannot be Gucci with all these snakes that be living lethal. What tune is that?
That would be 25.
Can you name me 5 words that rhyme with Gucci? Actually, name me 5 words that rhyme with Xbox.
Probably not, I'm gonna try. Rest spots, left spots, stretch socks, red dots, veg, mop.
I'm not gonna lie, that last one was a bit of a reach, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway, I'm impressed.
I'll take it, I'll take it.
And finally, can you tell me what the famous GG acronym stands for? And I'll give you a hint, it's not Gucci or Gucci.
GG, that's easy, that's good game. That's standard practice, that's good manners in the gaming world. If you don't mind, I'd like to get back to mine.
at the end of the day, as I'm teaching to my boy, when you start something, be the best on what you start, or don't even start it. If you take a challenge, make sure that you have all the tools to allow you to succeed.
We think it's very important for Axel and Victor to have strong values and know what is important in life, and that can help them in sport, but in life in general. So they have 10 rules that their dad have been teaching them very early, from the age of 3, I think, for each of them. The one for me is be happy and healthy. That's for me the most important thing. But of course, you know, all the discipline, the respect, the hard working, the teamwork, all these values are very important.
It's a very successful family. They breathe that kind of confidence into the boys. They've trained the boys so well, and they're such great little gentlemen. It's really special.
My dad, when I graduated, told me one thing. If you want to make money, become an entrepreneur. For me, it's about innovation. Think big and go for it. 18 years ago, I saw the need. If I'm able to provide to a network of doctors what they need, which is medical data, across the globe, they're going to assist the patient throughout Active Doctors Network, throughout our technology in your pocket. You are now able to connect and seek for a second medical opinion.
Working together has been very interesting. When we didn't have the kids, it was hard to separate, especially as entrepreneurs. It's always in your mind. We're like two different personalities. Front is an entrepreneur with a lot of ideas, and he goes really fast in, you know, everything he thinks and everything he achieves. I'm more grounded and more the one who do the work to make sure every process are in place. We're very complementary, I think. It's not only in work, also with the kids in education. We don't teach them maybe the same thing sometimes. They take from both of us. I grew up in a family of golfers. I really enjoyed the competitive part of it. So I played tournaments locally, nationally. I won the 2009 French Mid Amateur Championship just before moving to the US. When Axel was born, I was playing still many tournaments. Very early on, Florent took him to the golf course at the age of 2 or 3. He really enjoyed it. We saw that the hand-eye coordination was really great, and not just for golf, but for all the sports. We played our first parent-child competition at the age of 5, and that was a lot of fun. Starting from the second tournament, he started to win, and then he finished the winner of the Miami local tour. He won the World Championship at the age of 7.
I met Axel about 4 years ago. Once in a while, you see a junior, a kid jump out who has talent, more talent, a gift. Those kids, if they combine it with desire and dedication, can go on and do special things. He's got that super competitive spirit, and that's unusual.
Axel and Victor are great friends, and they're probably the best friends. They love spending time together. They play every sport together, every game. They're both super competitive. For Victor, Axel is a great inspiration and he admires him, but at the same time, Victor is really good. And so Axel is very often challenged by his little brother, and he doesn't want to lose, so he will always do his best to make sure the big brother is winning.
I think what makes them special is, one, they obviously have a lot of talent, but it's more so their pure love and enjoyment of being out here and never wanting to leave. We'll be here for 2-3 hour session, have chipping, putting, full swing, 10 holes on the course, and they're like, why are we leaving? Can we stay longer? They have a special bond too. Axel will go out there and caddy for Victor, and that's something you don't ever see, and Victor loves it.
They aspire to be maybe professional golf players, but we want to make sure, you know, they have a strong foundation, strong education, and they have all the tools to do whatever they want to do in their life. We really hope that, you know, whatever they choose later on, they'll do great and they'll be happy and healthy.
When you're born with a small difference, you have to be in the front. I want to teach them every single thing they need to be able to lead. And I hope that they will get it and they will make that happen.
When I fly Emirates and I see our wine, Chateau Palmer wines, on board, I'm obviously very, very proud of it.
When I fly Emirates and when I see people on board enjoying our champagne, it makes me proud.
For me, it's a pleasure to see NSC because in Emirates you are really relaxed.
The experience of Emirates is quite special because this is probably the unique part of the world where the time stops, the phone is switched off, and you just have time to enjoy a nice meal and a nice wine as well.
With Emirates, it's different. I mean, everything is perfect. Like a dream, you, for the first time, have the opportunity to enjoy Dom Pérignon with the perfect experience.
Being on Emirates, it's a real pleasure because we know that this wine will be appreciated by connoisseurs of wine.
When I fly Emirates, I'm always very happy to see how the wines are served, and they are served in perfect conditions.
So we are very proud of being served on the best tables around the world, and now we can say on the best tables in the air.
I love the service in Emirates. I am very happy to see how they came in the middle of the sky.
From economy through to first class, Emirates are renowned for the range and quality of their onboard wine selection. The team at Emirates share a genuine passion for wine, keeping close relationships with their suppliers and holding regular tastings in which they select those wines which will eventually be served on board. A member of the panel and currently holding the post of Senior Beverage Advisor at Emirates is Stephen Towler, a sommelier by trade, responsible for cabin crew wine training and communication on all things beverage.
Emirates flies wines from 12 different countries. And if you're flying to a wine region, you may well find a wine from your destination on board. We get great feedback about many of the wines that we list, but 3 regions that are particularly popular with our customers are Champagne, Burgundy and Bordeaux. So we've come to France to meet the people making some of the incredible French wines and spirits served by Emirates, and maybe learn a thing or two along the way. France has over 360 appellations or named places producing wine, some of which have been drawn up by Benedictine and Cistercian monks in the Middle Ages. These demarcated tracts of land were known as klimath, a term still in use today, stemming from the Greek word for a site's aspect or incline and exposure to the sun, its klima. Some of the sites with a more beneficial exposure are referred to as cru, coming from the word croître, or to grow, a term that can apply to specific vineyards such as in Burgundy, or whole villages as in Champagne. The aspect of a vineyard is one of the major factors in how a wine smells and tastes. This, along with the grape variety, climate and soil type, are just some of the natural factors influencing wine and contribute to its terroir, or expression of place. The viticulture, or the work in the vineyard, is the human element, as is the process of turning grape juice into wine, the vinification. For thousands of years, French winemakers, or vignerons, have been trying to fully understand the fermentation process and exactly what makes wine taste the way it does. but perhaps no other region has managed to communicate the concept of terroir as successfully as our first stop, Chablis.
The region of Chablis is located in the north of France, approximately 60 kilometres from the most southerly vines of the Champagne region. The climate can be described as cool continental, with production focusing exclusively on white wines from the Chardonnay grape.
There is no better place to illustrate the importance of the aspect of a vineyard than on this hill overlooking the Burgundian village of Chablis. As in the rest of Burgundy, the climats of Chablis are classed according to quality. The cooler, outlying, north-facing sites which produce the simplest wine are labelled with the lowlier appellation of Petit Chablis. Those with the slightly more favourable sun exposure and the vineyards on flatter land attain the village appellation of Chablis. Within the Chablis appellation lie the Chablis Premier Crus, which have a superior south-facing aspect. One particularly sun-exposed Premier Cru has a name that reflects the warmth that it receives on its sun-kissed slope and is called fourneau, the French for oven. Others often contain references in Old French to nearby woods or streams, or are named after former landowners. The 7 best vineyards of the region have their own appellation, Chablis Grand Cru, and are located on this 2-kilometre-long, southwest-facing steep hillside. Sheltered from the cold north winds, they soak up the warm afternoon rays from the sun. The furthest south, Blanchot, exceptionally has a southeast-facing slope, and was one of the first batch of 5 Grand Cru designated in 1919, along with Les Clos, Valmure, Grenouille, and Vaudezire, heading northwards from Blanchot. The 2 most northern vineyards, Les Preux and Bougros, were late arrivals to the appellation in 1938 and complete a gentle arc of vines hugging a bend in the Serein River as it ebbs and flows past the village of Chablis. The majority of the vineyards, particularly those on Premier and Grand Cru sites, lie on marl, a clay and silt-laden, chalky soil. This specific marl was created 150 million years ago in a geological age named after an English town sharing similar soils, Kimmeridge. The Kimmeridgian marl here in Chablis is packed with mineral-rich oyster fossils, as this low-lying area was once submerged beneath a shallow sea. Many tasters perceive the saline taste of minerals and a chalkiness in the wines of Chablis, but where those flavours come from is a matter of fierce debate. I'm here at the Obédiencerie, a former monastery which dates from 867 Common Era, before Alfred the Great became King of Wessex and the birth year of Richard d'Autun, the first Duke of Burgundy. It was here where Saint Martin de Tours first developed winemaking in the region in the Middle Ages, and it currently serves as headquarters of Domaine La Roche, one of the foremost producers in the area.
I was born in Burgundy. I learned enology in Burgundy, and then my first winemaking experiences were in Burgundy. That means the Chardonnay and Burgundy are like in my blood. Here in Chablis, we have definitely a very specific conditions with huge variations between the nights and the days, and we have specific soils. The name of this specific source is the Kimmeridgian, which gave to the Chardonnay very specific conditions to have the perfect balance. In Chablis, we try and we extract all the good minerals and all the natural antioxidants from the skins. That means the Chardonnay could have the perfect ripeness when we pick it for the harvest. We have the good balance. Inside we keep all the natural freshness, and we have all the natural environment to have the best conditions. The natural acidity is one of the most important things in the Chablis wine, and this natural acidity comes from the global environment, from the good variations between the nights and the days, but also from the limestone. At Domaine La Roche, we own 90 hectares, including 60 hectares of Chablis, 22 hectares of Premier Cru, with 12 different Premier Cru, and 6 hectares of Grand Cru. 6 hectares of Grand Cru represent 6% of the total appellation, because there is only 100 hectares of Grand Cru in Chablis. So Les Vaudevets is Domaine La Roche's emblematic Premier Cru. Indeed, we own 1/3 of the total vineyard. We are very proud to have Vodvay 15 on board on Emirates. Vodvay is a very unique and singular vineyard. Domaine La Roche owns 1/3 of the total appellation. But what is very specific and unique is the terroir of Les Vodvay. It's east exposure and it's a very steep slope, more than 50%. You can find the white marl from the Chimay region with a very little limestone pebble on surface. Vodvay, it's always a very pure wine, very chalky, with huge concentrations of minerals. Vodvay is always a perfect blend to pair it with fresh fish or sashimi or very fresh foods. When we are on board, our perceptions are completely different. It's why, with Emirates, we decided to create a unique wine. It's a specific and unique blend which is done with the best Premier Cru. So Emirates team selected 3 different blends. After a final tasting on board, they select only one. They created the perfect blend to be tasted on board, and with many different concentrations of Montée-Tonnerre, Montmilieu and Fourchaume. You can be sure that you are going to have a unique experience with this Premier Cru. It's an exclusive Premier Cru, and it's the first time for Domaine La Roche that we did such wines.
The Essence des Climats Chablis Premier Cru from Domaine La Roche has been especially blended to provide optimal onboard enjoyment. It will be available for a limited period on European routes, exclusively in Emirates First and Business Class. Over the years, Emirates has invested time and resources to build relationships with producers, not just in Chablis, but throughout Burgundy. After a number of vintages with reduced harvest throughout the region, these valuable partnerships have been paying dividends by ensuring that Emirates aircraft can continue to feature these coveted wines on board.
For our next destination, however, we switch from still wines to bubbles. So please check in with Emirates Wine Channel for our journey through the wine region of Champagne.
December 21st, 1620. Pilgrims aboard the Mayflower go ashore for the first time at present-day Plymouth, Massachusetts. That's where they settle the first permanent European colony in what's known as New England. 1988. A terrorist bomb explodes aboard a Pan Am Boeing 747 over Lockerbie, Scotland. The blast kills 270 people as wreckage from the plane crashes to the ground. Libyan agents are later tried for the bombing, while Libya's government accepts responsibility nearly 15 years later. 1968. Apollo 8 lifts off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, start of the first mission to orbit the moon. And 1937. Actress Jane Fonda, known for her big screen roles, political activism, and workout videos, is born in New York. Today in history, December 21st. Ed Donahue, The Associated Press.
The National Coronavirus Command Council has decided to enforce a nationwide lockdown.
That's not what they really said.
You ready?
We'll see.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Are you sure?
No.
Huh? What?
Look at a guy.
Cool. Hit it. First things first. Rules are simple.
Hey, what's rule number 1? Party? No, not party.
Whoopsie, I forgot the seatbelt rule.
Oh, so she knows the rules?
I told her just a few of them. Well, now it's a party. Awesome. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Let me give you some really good advice.
Spill it. Smile and put on a happy face.
Okay, we've broken a lot of rules.
You guys want to party like rock stars. You're all insane.
You having a good time?
Yeah.
I can't stop the
stop the, I can't stop the feeling. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. Ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Everybody say.
In order to put this stylish new vehicle through its paces, I brought it to the legendary Swartberg Pass, and boy am I looking forward to this adventure. What impresses me the most about the new design is the aggressive grille. This paired together with the 4 LED projector headlamps and the signature daytime running lights gives this vehicle a lot of presence. With the vehicle's new improved ride height, not only will it look good in the city, but it's going to perform a lot better over the rough stuff. So the vehicle now has a new 2.5 turbo diesel engine, and while the output is the same as previous generations, the delivery of that power is so much better. The vehicles are produced in both 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive options, and with a transmission either available in automatic 7-speed or manual 6-speed transmission. My personal preference is the 4-wheel drive together with the 7-speed automatic gearbox, as this combination really just feels like a marriage made in heaven. The ride comfort in this vehicle is absolutely first class, and that's a result of the NASA-inspired seats as well as the upgraded 5-link coil suspension. The much improved rear suspension of the car allows for better handling as well as traction, and that's both in on-road and off-road conditions. This car comes with traction control, which from a safety perspective is critical because when in slippery or wet conditions, traction becomes everything. Another cool feature is downhill assist, which basically gives any driver, irrelevant of their experience levels, much needed confidence when taking on those steep downhill obstacles. The innovation and design didn't stop with just the front of this vehicle. Nissan have increased the load capacity of their bin. They've retained their utility tracks and 12-volt charging socket. They've included a very light and practical tailgate, together with a functional reverse camera and a beautifully designed new bumper. From the first time I climbed into this Nissan Navara, I've been impressed. For the Navara, it's a big step forward. The overall enhancements in the car, from a ride handling point of view, the power delivery, it's just really next level. For the consumer in South Africa that's looking for a utility vehicle, this honestly has to be one of the best packages available. The new Nissan Navara. After my 21 years and more than 100,000 kilometers of off-road racing, I can tell you that I'm seriously impressed. When Nissan talk to rugged and redefined, they've taken it to a completely new level in terms of both performance and design. But most importantly, the car has been built by Africans for Africans, taking both our environment and our lifestyle into account.
This is the future of racing. Where pilots and flying machines merge at the digital frontier. The next generation of sport is here. This is EXA, Airspeeder's first flying car racing series.
What's up everyone, Ningu Adventure here, and today we are exploring Jeffreys Bay. We're also gonna look around St. Francis Bay, which actually consists of 3 different areas, distinct different areas. St. Francis Bay, Port St. Francis, and also Cape St. Francis. So stay for the free coffee. If you can spot that coffee, it's free, it's yours, and come for the adventure. See you guys. Today we are exploring the beautiful Jeffreys Bay, aka JBay, surfer town of South Africa. So we are visiting our friend Jamie, and she's a beautiful person, and she's a local here in Jeffreys Bay. She's gonna show us around the town of Jeffreys Bay. beautiful little town, and it's known for its canals.
Guys, what do you guys think about Port St. Francis?
Well, I think Port St. Francis is a beautiful harbor, and I love the fact that you can see the whole coast, Paradise Beach and Jeffreys Bay from here.
So guys, I want to explain to you a little bit how you can win this coffee for free. If you can spot the coffee in this video and you send us a screenshot of where you can spot the coffee, you can win 1 kilogram of wonderful, amazing coffee.
The way of life.
Is that okay, sweetie?
A little bit to the left, please. Down to the right, please. That's good.
Your drink, sir.
Okay. Oh, cut out, sweetie.
Hello, Farrod.
How's it, Rudolph? What are you up to, man?
Busy, very busy.
Ugh, tell me another joke. What do you mean you're busy? You're probably doing nothing like usual. Why are you speaking so funny? You got sinus or something? No, but you must get yourself over here, but the Reggies are cooking. Yeah, no, seriously, right? There's been quite a few tournaments here in Jeffreys Bay, different provinces, and the Gascona and that. And there's been a good few decent fish around and lots of decent Reggies, quite some nice ones. The biggest one was 172 kilos. And I know you haven't caught a decent Reggie this season, so let's see. Why don't you want to come down and see if you can get your first decent one?
Okay, that sounds good. James, go load the vehicle. We're going to Jeffreys Bay.
Yes, sir.
The scenery through the Transkei is absolutely beautiful. We stopped every now and then to have a look at some of the nice mountainside and the beautiful landscape. So it's such a stunning route to travel. And it's not worth racing down to Jeffreys Bay. Take a slow drive and enjoy the beauty of nature. You know, it's all part of our sport. And I really enjoyed the drive here.
and we arrived here and met up with Gerard. Hey, Gerard!
Welcome to Jeffreys Bay, eventually.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Well, show us our accommodation. Okay, Gerard, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did your passion for fishing start?
Rudolph, I think the bug really bit me at the age of about 17 or so when I caught my first little grey shark at something good and PE there. And a year later I joined the club. And I made the first EP side to ever fish a junior side at the age of 18. I was lucky enough to win the first ever SA Championships. So, you know, then it was just my passion from there on.
Oh, and Gerard, I also know that currently in the SA Champs senior side, you're the #1 ranked angler. So you're really going through a good spell, and you know, that's why we're here fishing with you, so we can learn about your knowledge and all of your experience within this area.
Oh, Rudolph, you know how it works. You need a bit of luck, and when the luck's on your side, you just need to run with it for a bit. So hopefully I've got another few years in me, and I'm really looking forward to try and put you in some big fish.
Okay, Gerard, so we're here a couple of years at Jeffreys Bay this morning. It's low tide now, so what's the plan? What do you think we're going to do?
Well, it's our third day of east now, so you know, the easterly wind usually brings on the fish. The water's a little bit chilly. It's around 16 degrees.
Chilly, it's damn freezing.
Yeah. See all the jellyfish washing out with the cold water in the east.
Yeah.
We've got low tide now, so I think maybe we take a chance. Even though the water's a little bit chilly, we're going to try some drop shot. Maybe we can get 1 or 2 cobbies.
Well, we've walked up approximately 4 k's now, and we felt the water in the bay at a couple of years we walked on, and we guesstimated at about 16 degrees. But up here it's freezing. It's so cold you actually don't want to walk in the water. Your ankles start aching, and even Gerard says it's pointless fishing for cob in this cold water. You'll make a few throws, but he reckons 13, 14 degrees, which is way too cold for cob. We should get a raggy in this cold water. Put a bait up to him and see what happens. Okay, so that little session this morning was a bit difficult. That's, you know, when you, Gerard haven't been down the beach for a long time. He's been busy guiding teams and stuff on the other side of Jeffreys. So we've learned the water is very cold down there. So what we're going to have to look for is some warmer water. And according to Gerard, if we find warmer water, we'll find the fish. For these little raggies, you don't need a fancy bait, just big ball of meat. We've got some yellowtail here with a mackerel cut open inside out on top of it. So nothing fancy, just a nice big smelly bait. As we're about to give up on these raggies, looking for a spot where the water's a bit warmer, we found a few here between the bricks, small little hole that seems to be holding a pocket of warmer water. So I just dropped one and got a smallie on here. So well, this is what we call a pup. It's a young 45, 50 kilo fish. So not the giant we're looking for, but it's a start. There's icy water, they're nice and strong. And this one's got a very big scar here. Something had a bite at it a few years ago and it survived it. It's probably a big great white or a big Zambia or something.
Little tiny little reggie here. Missed him the first time, but luckily he came back.
There was a close to 100 kilo fish. Been around 100 kilos. Well, put a sharp hook on and try again.
Let's see if it's third time lucky. I had one that bit my sink off and I missed one the next one and then the hook fell out after that. And let's see if I can get this one. Maybe my luck has changed. We're fishing in foul reef here, so you need a reel with a solid drag, and this Pen Torque has got a serious drag, so it's got lots of stopping power in it. It's about the same size as the one that Rudolph got there earlier on. And as you can see, there's a bit of a slant on the water, so takes a bit of time getting him up and down until you get your timing right to get him out. So 50 kilos, 48, 50 kilos.
Okay, Sarah, thanks a lot for a good day.
Cheers.
It was hard work, no? What do you think the reason was for the fishing being so quiet today, Gerard?
Rudolph, we felt the water here in the Komiki this morning and felt alright. I thought we had a chance maybe with an odd carbon there. And then by the time we walked our 4Ks up the beach and we tried to wade into the water and our feet started burning, we realized it's not going to work. Eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, the water just dropped too quickly again. I think it was maximum 14 and a half today, so it was just too cold.
Yeah. This morning when we were down at the beach there, it was so cold, you said we need to find the warmer water. And that's why we went up to Paradise on the southern side, in between those long reefs, where there's pockets of warm water sort of caught up in the reefs there. And we found those smaller raggies there. So basically, our game plan's got to be to find the warm water for as long as this cold water's around.
Oh, Rudolph, that's spot on. When the sea goes too cold, you can find just even if it's just a degree or two warmer, it makes a difference, you know. The fish seem to run away from the colder water, and then wherever there's a pocket trap, that's the last place they get pushed in. So maybe we'll have to look at it tomorrow. I think with this west blowing now, it's like a semi-gale out here, and they forecast a proper gale tomorrow. So yeah, we'll just have to try and find water 1 or 2 degrees warmer. Maybe we can have a good day.
Well, that's it. I'm not going to argue with the guru. He's going to put us on some good fish tomorrow. As Gerard said, we've got a gale west coming through now. The advantage of the gale west is that it warms the water up a little bit, and that's what we need, a few degrees warmer water. 17, 18 degrees, Gerard? Sort of perfect conditions
yeah,
here.
perfect.
The second morning here in Eastern Cape, Jeffreys Bay. We're here at the world famous Super Tubes surfing area. And Gerard, what's the game plan for today?
Oh, Rudolph, we've got a big cold front, as you can see, that's moved in, and the wind's blowing fairly strong, semi-gale, and it's going to blow up to 35, 40 knots later. So I think maybe if we look for a bit of protection, go to the deep water spots at St. Francis, you'll have the west in your back. Water's still cold, so there might not be a lot of pools. But maybe we can get 1 or 2 of those big pools, putting out big baits and just sitting it out. Okay, Rudolph, we're here at Natal Rock at Cape St. Francis. As you can see, we're a little bit sheltered here. The wind's still a little bit west-northwest, but should swing to southwest later.
Hey! Well, at last, we've been spending a few hours on the rock here, sitting chatting about everything but fishing. The weather's awful. Gale, west wind. And as we're about to give up, I had to pick up here. Feels like a decent fish. As you can see, it's a very sharp, rocky spot we're fishing. So I'm not going to force this fish. I'm going to just let it swim out there, get a bit tired, and then I can try and bully it into the area where we're going to land it. Unfortunately, this fish was just hugging the bottom, a big flat fish, and it managed to go around a rock. My line's stuck in the muscle. So I don't know, it's very difficult to try and get the line out the muscles, but let's hope we get lucky here. We need a lot of luck to get this fish out. This is the result. A 50+ kilo spear nose, one of those exotic fish we came here to Jeffreys Bay area for, and I cannot be happier. So this fish is riddled with thorny, spiky bits, and if he smacks you with that tail, you're gonna cry. It looks like barbed wire on there or razor wire, and even this nose, spear nose, where it gets its name from, holding it like that, my fingers are pricking at the bottom, it's full of little thorns, the whole body of it. And I don't think many sharks are going to try and eat this fish. It's too spiky and aggy. And while we're sitting here chatting, a sea otter just came and said hello to us. He came like 3 meters from us. We've seen him here a few times. I've never ever seen one come up to us like this, so it's absolutely amazing to see. It's so nice to be in nature and enjoy the fishing, and it's all about the fishing and the life around fishing, and these are all special things you always remember. Before we headed back to Seashell's luxury accommodation, Gerard decided to take me for a drive down to St. Francis Harbour and explain to me a little bit about the chocker industry and how it fits into the whole setup here at St. Francis Bay.
Port St. Francis, as you can see, is the main ports in the Eastern Cape to process and service the squid boats and the squid industry. And for us here in Jeffreys Bay and the St. Francis area, even parts of P, it's quite a big industry, and it's very important for revenue, etc. and employment. You can see where all your expensive chocker is coming from. Every chance that the chocker that's in your bait box and your freezer at the moment has come from one of these boats here. They're getting ready for the opening, which is in about 2 weeks' time. And yeah, then it's all systems go. Hopefully they catch a lot of chocker and the price can come down a little bit for us anglers.
It's our third morning here in our quest for those big Eastern Cape fish, those big raggies and some flatfish. And the weather is still a bit miserable this morning, a little bit better than yesterday. The cold front's still here though, it's gale force west winds. And Gerard brought us to another nice little hideaway spot this morning, and we're going to carry on looking for those big fish.
Okay, Okay, the tackle I'm going to use is my Pen Torque 40. It's filled with Berkeley Trilene Max 0.50. The hive is orange. It's the same line, just in a different color that Rudolph pulled that big flatfish with yesterday, so the line's very, very strong, I know that.
So we both put out throw baits. Gerard built that nice raggy bait. I casted just a plain yellowtail head. And now for my big rod, which I'm going to put a slide out, 2 big tenor hooks, 150 pound nylon coated, about a meter long, onto my slide. I've just taken a whole yellowtail, cut the gills open a bit, cut that tail open, gave it a little bit of a flap. What's awesome about this Jeffreys Bay sort of area is that it's one of the few places in South Africa you're going to be able to fish and still catch fish in bad conditions like this, where it's gale force west, water is not right, conditions aren't right, you still manage to catch fish, and that's what makes this place so special. Hey! Got him, man! There's something, a bite. Got another species here in the Eastern Cape. This one is known as a cow shark. One of those cold water species you get here. It's actually quite a nice one. 25 odd kilos and very dangerous shark. This is one of those sharks that can swing around, bite its own tail, like you saw when Gerard handled that fish. Is very careful, and you don't want to get bitten by this boy. He's got ugly teeth, big mouth, and it's quite a special way you take the hook out of the shark's mouth. They're very tough and strong, these sharks. You can actually put your feet on the picks, pull the mouth open, and someone else can take the hook out. They're like a croc. When you've got the mouth open, big, they really battle to close it again. It's like a better fish cut, or what do you think?
Oh, it took off nicely. It's just coming in now. It's hard to say. Fishing with a small lever drag, the 60. Massive gut capacity. The line is Pen Super X 0.55. So there's a surprise. It's actually a diamond on a whole chocker. So I got that one totally wrong.
Well done, Gerard.
Yeah, this is actually a good sign. This is a sign that the water's starting to warm up for the west, so this is what we've been looking for.
Definitely, yeah.
So that's excellent news. This time of the year, as I said before, this is close season for the chocker. They're breeding, they come in really close. And I've often seen it this time of the year where the chocker works quite well because the fish are actually zoned into that smell and the chocker. It's like a natural bait at the moment.
Okay.
I've got the hook out, but the diamond's got my finger, so you must not just relax until he lets go. To release a diamond, just at the back of the jaw, you can actually get a good grip on him. And makes it easy to drag him back in the water. At all costs, try to keep your fingers out of the breathing holes. Does a lot of damage to them, and they most probably won't survive. So just make sure you grab them before behind the jaw. Drag them in and just make sure that he actually lets go of your fingers before you try to get away from him.
Into another fish here. The fish are just starting to cook now. Gerard's getting a bite, my other rod's getting a bite. Starts turning, it's pushing, water's warming up. So things are happening here in the Eastern Cape. I'm hoping this fish is that one we're looking for. Very feisty, he's got weight to it. We're happy if it's a big one. one doesn't fight. Well, as you can see, this is a giant fish, 150 kilos plus, definitely. Nice and fat. Look at those broad shoulders, big tail, ginormous tail. And that's why Hannah told me to come get one of these beasts. And my trip made to Jeffreys Bay. And just cannot tell you how happy about this. Conditions were tough, we battled for the bite, but right here for him, managed to get him. So we're gonna measure this fish, take 1 or 2 photos, get it back in the water safely. US 7. Huh? US 7. Yeah. Well, Gerard, that was such an awesome trip. Thanks a lot. 3 days of excellent fishing. Although we had terrible conditions, you know, we proper stormy conditions. So we did quite well. We got some nice fish and we ended up with that big ray we were looking for. So all I can say is thanks a lot for putting us on the fish, showing us all those little hideaway spots from the bad weather. And I had an awesome time.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Rudolph. I was panicking a bit at one stage that we won't achieve our goals, you know, with the ice cold water and then that massive cold front. But right in the end, you pulled it through there with the excellent fish. So you're happy, I'm happy, and I hope the viewers are going to enjoy the footage.
I'm sure they are going to. And this place is just so versatile. You know, every time I come here, I'm amazed how versatile the fishing is here. You can fish in any conditions, any wind, any weather, and there's always a spot to fish. And that's what makes this Jeffreys Bay area so special.
Yeah, I know, 100% there, you know. Lots of hideaway spots, gale east, gale west, rough sea, flat sea, cold water, warm water. With all the species we've got here, you can always find a place to go and pull 1 or 2 fish to keep yourself busy, you know. So I'm very fortunate to live here in Jeffreys Bay and I love it. I don't think I'll move anywhere else anytime soon.
I don't blame you. No, you're very lucky. Well, guys, this is the end of the first few days here in our little journey through the Eastern Cape, Jeffreys Bay. Follow us in the next show. We're going to do some nice, exciting fishing again here with Gerard.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
The number you have dialed has been changed.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news